Hey, what's up guys? Mid-City here back again with another video, and today I'm bringing you another Rampart guide, this time focusing solely on Rampart's tactical amped cover. Now please leave a like, pop a sub, and comment down below as always. All of your support is appreciated, and thank you so much for 500 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you. Now keep in mind with a lot of the tips here, some of them I have sprinkled into other guides, and as always, all of my guides will be linked in the description down below. If you haven't watched them, I highly suggest you go check it out. They have proved very useful for a lot of people, and that's mainly where I get all of my subs, is from my guides. So obviously they have helped others, and I guarantee they will help you in some way. All right, that's the last plug. Let's get right into the first tip with Rampart's walls. All right, we're going to be starting off with the simpler or easier tips first, and then we are going to be going over the more complicated tech with Rampart walls. So first and foremost, you are going to be wanting to get into the habit of breaking down your walls. Now, you cannot, I've kind of gone over this in other guides as I mentioned before. Say you have your walls set up and then you and your team kind of push out away from those walls, but say there's a third party or a fourth party coming in, and knowing Apex a fifth party, and you have to backtrack. Make sure that these walls were broken down before you left that area, because now you didn't break them down. Another third party, fourth party, sixth party, 100th party can come in and absolutely beam you with your own walls, which is awful. So you need to learn when to break down your cover when leaving an area, and the more you play Rampart, the more you will realize when and that is needed or when that is necessary. And this seems like such a simple point, but man, will it save you time and time again. The second tip I have is for putting up the walls and breaking down. There's techniques that make your life so much easier as a Rampart. Now I want to get into the first tip, which is placing your walls in a defensive manner. Say people are pushing you, or you need to create space between you and the enemy while also discouraging them following you, that you need to get this movement down right here. You want to do the slide, jump, slide, and turn around. You want to slide, jump, slide, and turn around. So the momentum keeps you going, but you're looking behind you. And then once you get that down, you want to place the wall in the midst of that. So popping up that wall, it may eat a few bullets for you because it does have some health before it's fully popped up. But also they see that wall going up, and that instantly makes most players kind of hesitate on pushing you straight on. Maybe they'll kind of go on a roundabout manner, but that still helps you out. So make sure you're placing walls like that a lot. And I actually just did what my next point is without even thinking. It wasn't the cleanest, but this time, when you're breaking down your walls, make sure, especially in the midst of fights, if you have to break them down, slide into it and break it down, and it's a seamless move. Sometimes you might hit your wall on accident, especially when things are chaotic, but you want to slide and press the button as you're going through it, and it'll automatically go it. You keep the momentum, because sometimes when sprinting, I don't know what it is, but when sprinting, the walls don't register as much. If you're sliding into it, it's just a lot easier. So keep that in mind. I have included this tip as well in another guide, but I'm going to include it here since it's the all-encompassing wall guide. You can place this to climb on top of and get to higher places quicker and more effectively, or maybe places that Rampart otherwise couldn't get to without her wall. This is also very, very helpful when doors are blown out and you can't climb the door to get to higher areas. So you just place your wall where the door used to be, and you can climb up to that area still, and it will take your enemies by surprise almost every time. Now, the last of my super simple tips here is that whenever you're setting up with kind of an area or a cone of where you're surveying with your team, so say your team is kind of hunkering down in ranked or something, and you all are surveying this 180 degrees in front of you, it is always good to save at least one wall, and I don't have a long cooldown right now, but save one wall to place behind you, even if it's just right there, because you never know when a team or a player will come behind you, especially rats will come behind you and start beaming you. This wall will save you or one of your teammates 100% of the time, just because it gives them enough time to react. So just having one wall, just one simple wall behind you, somewhere behind you, will always prove useful if you're planning on staying in one place for a significant amount of time, or an amount of time that's more than just a couple seconds. Now, this is the first of the more complicated tips, and I'm not going to go in depth because I already have an entire in-depth guide on this point. But you can actually do movement off of Rampart's walls, and since Rampart is always going to have walls around her at all times, you might as well utilize power slides and power glides with these, because Rampart is not a movement legend, but this makes it so that you feel like you at least have some sort of movement afforded to you, and it's integral as a Rampart main to at least get power slides down. Nonetheless, you should get power glides down too, and they are tough, but they're worth it. Go check out that guide in the description if you want to know more. Okay, I don't know what this is technically called, but I call it wall extensions. So you see how walls place out in front of you right here too? You can actually cheese this when you're behind cover. See how the cover's like right here and it's right in front of your face when you're around a corner? So say you're kind of pinned, your teammate needs some time to heal, you're not doing so hot either. You can actually cheese your way around this corner usually, and look, it extends out right there. And it's still, like, I've cheesed so many teams with this, and they're so surprised that, whoa, how'd he pop the wall all the way over here? Look at that. The pillar's covering half of the wall, but I was still able to get the extension out. And that's what I call wall extensions. When you're feeling pinned, learn this kind of, like, weird... I don't even know. Like, you maintain cover while placing up walls farther than you normally would. It's kind of cheesy, but it really works, especially when you're pinned in buildings. So learn wall extensions and get in the habit of being able to utilize those when you're in a bad spot. Now onto one of the most useful aspects of Rampart's amped cover, and that is the ability to block off doors. As I've mentioned previously, Rampart is a monster indoors. It's where she thrives, and you need to learn how to utilize her walls in order to thrive indoors. Now, this is the classic block the door. They can't get in. They have to do 2 kicks to the door and then climb through amped cover to get to you. So it really does slow them down, but don't think that this is as safe as maybe a catalyst door or some spikes on the door, because if they bust through your amped wall, you don't get any alerts to that happening. So you can easily, if you leave this here and forget about it, they can still come through, and this only slows them down in heated moments. But don't think that you can only block doors this way. You also need to layer up outside of this too. So make it even more difficult for them to push through. Make emergency points to the side out of their viewpoint, so when they go through, then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, there's cover right there. I should not have mantled over inside this building. You need to layer up, even if it's layering up with 2, and I've taught you guys this in previous guides. If you lengthen these out just the right amount, and this is obviously only happening in ranked or when you're really desperate, if you layer these out, characters will kind of glitch across it and they won't be able to touch the floor, and sometimes their mantle animation will still happen too. So it's messing up their aim, it's messing up their timing of things, so don't be afraid to do this either. Or don't even be here, I don't know why my wall's not breaking down. What the heck is going on? Come on. This is also another thing that I hate about it. But don't be afraid to block doors with it sideways like that. That actually works too, and I'll show you guys what it looks like on that. Let's see. So here you go. Look at that. Blocks it just as well. And sometimes it kind of throws them off. They're like, what in the world? Why is this blocked? But once they get in, you can play this actually surprisingly well. It makes them choose, oh, I got to go over here, or I have to go over here. So it still kind of corrals them in a weird way. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to try to go on this side. So you can always expect them, and it kind of makes them a sitting duck. It sounds weird. It sounds counterintuitive, and it sounds like you're not utilizing the amped cover as well as you could. But seriously, it helps corral them the way that you want them to go. Or if they go the dumb way, there you go. Free damage with amped walls. So make sure you do this too. Alright guys, that was my guide for Rampart's walls. Don't forget to leave a like, pop a sub, and comment down below any tips that you may think are useful when it comes to her walls. I know there's a ton of them out there, and I couldn't make a super long guide with everything I know about the walls. So make sure you guys include it in the comment section down below so that we can have an all-encompassing guide with viewer input included. I love you guys. I hope you guys are staying safe, and take it easy.